Hey everyone, welcome back to Drama Llamas of Reddit, and a special welcome to anyone who's new here. Today we've got a mix of wild stories and a whole cast of characters. From a family that tries to draft me as their personal ATM for a wedding deposit, all the way to a brother who wants me to co-sign his midlife crisis on wheels, like it's no big deal, with plenty of drama and receipts in between. I won't keep you waiting. Get comfy, grab a drink or a snack. If you're eating, enjoy your meal, and if you're driving, keep your eyes on the road. Let's get into it. I am 30 years old, and in my family, I'm the reliable one, which is just a polite way of saying, we will call you at the last second and act personally offended that you have a life. My younger cousin Kayla is 26 years old, and the moment she got engaged, my entire family transformed into wedding planners with the organizational skills of raccoons in a dumpster. Loud, frantic, and somehow convinced everything they touched belonged to them. One Sunday, my aunt calls me and says, "We're doing a little family brunch to talk wedding ideas." She says it in that sweet voice adults use right before they ask you to move a couch. So I show up expecting pancakes and awkward small talk. Instead, I walk into a living room that looks like Pinterest got into a fist fight with a craft store. There are venue brochures everywhere, cake samples on the coffee table, color palettes taped to the wall, and a seating chart so big it looks like a battle plan. Kayla is glowing like she's in a commercial. Her fiancé is nodding with the dead-eyed calm of someone being quietly held hostage. And my aunt is wearing that specific smile that says, "I am about to spend someone else's money and sleep great tonight." I'm barely halfway through my first bite of a bagel when my aunt claps her hands and goes, "Okay, great news. We found the perfect venue. We just need the deposit by tomorrow." I pause. "Deposit by tomorrow?" She nods like this is normal. "It's only $2,500. We figured you could put it on your card and we'll pay you back." I actually laugh because it has to be a joke. Nobody laughs back. Kayla does the big innocent eyes and leans forward like she's asking for a puppy, not a personal loan. Come on, you're good for it. It's basically an investment in family happiness. And in my head I'm thinking, cool. Do I get dividends or just trauma? I swallow my bagel and ask, "Why me?" My aunt answers instantly, like she rehearsed it in the mirror. "Because you don't have kids, you don't have a mortgage, and you're responsible." Translation: you have fewer excuses, so we picked you. And here's what they didn't expect. I had just helped my dad go through household expenses the month before, and I learned the holy power of documentation. Receipts, dates, agreements, paper trails. The stuff that makes manipulators break out in hives. So I smile politely and say, "Sure, I'll consider it. Send me the repayment plan in writing, and I'll need everyone who's pitching in to sign off with exact amounts and dates." My aunt's smile twitches. Just a little. Like her face is glitching. She goes, "Oh, don't be like that. We're family." Kayla's voice turns sharp. "Why are you making it weird?" I keep my tone calm and I say, "Because money makes it weird, not me." That's when my uncle swoops in like he's been waiting for his moment. He hits me with the classic guilt nuke. "If you loved Kayla, you'd do this." So I hit him right back with the counterspell. "If you loved Kayla, you'd have the deposit ready." Silence. The fiancé suddenly becomes extremely fascinated by the carpet, like he's discovering a new species of fiber. My aunt huffs and crosses her arms. "Fine, we'll pay you back in a couple of months." I ask, "From what?" She waves her hand like I'm asking about the weather. "We'll figure it out." And that's the moment the whole thing clicks into place. The plan isn't borrow and repay. The plan is, I pay, they forget. And when I ask about it later, I get told I'm keeping score and ruining the vibe. So I stand up, wipe my hands, and say, "I'm not comfortable floating a wedding deposit, but I will give you $200 as my wedding gift early." Kayla's face collapses like a cheap folding chair. "200? She says, like I just handed her a used coupon. "That's insulting." My uncle scoffs. "Wow, so you're cheap now." I nod slowly and go, "No. I'm consistent. I'm not a bank. And let me tell you, When you refuse to play your assigned role in a dysfunctional family, they act like you committed a crime. People gasp. My aunt clutches her pearls like I just threatened the centerpiece. Kayla looks at me like I stole her childhood dream. I walk out to a chorus of offended noises that sound like a flock of geese getting evicted. That night, the family group chat lights up. My aunt posts, "Some people forget what family means." So I reply with one line, "Family doesn't hand you a bill and call it love." 2 days later, guess who miraculously found the deposit money? Kayla's mother, like magic. The venue didn't explode. The wedding didn't get canceled. The world did not end. And at the wedding? Kayla avoided me like I was a debt collector, which is hilarious because that's exactly the role they wanted me to be. They just wanted me to be the debt collector who never actually collects. Ending note. I stayed polite. I showed up. I gave a normal gift, and I learned something priceless. When you stop funding chaos, people suddenly discover budgeting. All right, let's move on to the next story, because apparently my family heard good credit score and took it as a personal invitation to ruin it. I am 29 years old in this one, and my older brother Mike is 33 years old. Mike is the kind of guy who treats consequences like spam email. He sees them, he ignores them, and then acts shocked when they come back marked urgent. He calls me one afternoon sounding way too friendly and says, "Bro, I need a quick favor. Just come to the dealership and sign something. It's nothing." And let me tell you, whenever someone says it's nothing, it's always a financial felony wearing a trench coat. I ask, "What am I signing?" He goes, "Just co-signing. It'll help my interest rate. You have good credit." I say, "Why don't you?" He pauses and hits me with the most vague answer possible. "Because life." So I meet him at the dealership, and the salesman greets me like he's been waiting all day for his meal ticket to walk in. Mike is already test driving something that looks like it drinks premium gas and bad decisions. I'm standing there watching him rev the engine like a teenager who just discovered testosterone. The salesman slides paperwork in front of me and says, "If you sign here, you'll just be a secondary." I read it. Because I am not possessed, and I do not sign contracts based on vibes. The contract clearly says I'm not secondary anything. I'm equally responsible. If Mike misses a payment, the bank doesn't call him first. They call me like I'm the emergency contact for his impulsive choices. I look at Mike and say, "This makes me liable if you miss payments." He waves his hand like I'm being dramatic. "I won't miss payments. I'm literally getting a promotion soon." Soon is not a date. Soon is a bedtime story parents tell kids so they'll stop asking questions. I turn back to the salesman and say, "Can you print the payment schedule and the total loan cost?" The salesman does that tight little smile, the one that says, "Please stop being literate." He goes, "Most people don't worry about that." I say, "I do. That's why my credit is good." Mike leans in and whispers, "Don't embarrass me." I whisper back, "Don't bankrupt me." Then he pulls out the guilt grenade like it's his signature move. "I helped you move last year." I nod. "Yeah, and I bought you pizza. That was the contract." I stand up, slide the papers back like I'm returning a cursed artifact, and say, "I'm not co-signing. If you can afford the car, you can get it in your name. If you can't, you can't." Mike's face turns red like the dashboard warning lights on a used car. "So you're just gonna leave me hanging?" I say. "No. I'm leaving you responsible." He storms out, calls me names in the parking lot, and immediately tells our mom I sabotaged his future. My mom calls me the same day with the classic line, "Why can't you just help your brother?" I tell her, "Because your definition of help is me taking the fall for him." 2 weeks later, Mike magically buys an older car within his budget. Funny how budgets appear when the bailout disappears. Looking back, I'm honestly proud of myself, because if I had signed that contract, I wouldn't have just co-signed a car. I would have co-signed Mike's entire personality, and my credit score doesn't deserve to be a supporting character in his grind set era. Now, take a breath, refill your drink, and get ready, because the next story is where my family tries to turn a holiday into a hostage situation. I am 31 years old here, and I made the classic mistake of buying a house with a decent dining area. To my family, that didn't mean congrats. It meant I had just been elected supreme holiday host for life. No campaigning required. My mom calls in early November and says, "We're doing Thanksgiving at your place." Not asks, declares. Then she adds, "And you'll handle food because you're better at organizing." I deadpan, "Organizing what? My bankruptcy?" She laughs like I'm doing a bit. "Oh, honey, it's just family." Then she casually mentions my aunt, my uncle, my cousins, and a few friends who don't have anywhere to go. So now I'm not hosting a dinner. I'm hosting a small festival. I say, "I'm happy to host if everyone brings something and we split costs." My mom hits me with, "Splitting is tacky." Tacky is apparently when you don't want to bankroll 14 adults who all own phones, cars, and opinions. So I do what any sane person does when surrounded by chaos. I make a spreadsheet. Yes, I am that guy now. I send a message to the whole group. "Hey everyone, I can host. Here are the dishes to claim and a $15 per adult contribution for groceries." Within minutes, my aunt texts, "Are you charging your own family?" My cousin says, "Bro, it's Thanksgiving, not a restaurant." I reply, "Exactly, restaurants charge more." Then my mom calls me furious like I just committed a war crime. "You're making people uncomfortable." I say, "Good. Discomfort is cheaper than debt." Here's the twist. I still hosted, but I hosted strategically. I bought one normal turkey and basic sides for my household. Then I set up a potluck station with labeled spots, like a museum exhibit. If someone didn't bring their dish, their spot stayed empty like a silent protest art piece. Thanksgiving Day arrives and people show up, empty-handed, like they all got amnesia the moment they crossed my driveway. My uncle strolls in and goes, "So what's for appetizers?" I gesture to an empty table and say, "Your contribution was supposed to be the appetizer." My mom tries to rescue them by whispering, "Just put out more food." I whisper back, "No." When it's time to eat, the people who brought dishes had plates stacked like champions. The people who didn't were suddenly very interested in why the mac and cheese isn't here yet. I smile and say, "Oh, that was Kayla's. You should ask her." The vibe shifts hard. Someone mutters, "This is petty." I nod and say, "Yes, and it's working." By dessert, my aunt magically Venmo'd me. My uncle offered to grab drinks. My mom looked like she'd watched her favorite magic trick get exposed, and now she's trying to pretend she didn't enjoy it. Ending note. Next year, my mom suggested we do a smaller gathering. Translation, they learned the family ATM was closed on holidays too. I used to think setting boundaries would make me the villain. Turns out it just made me the guy with turkey and self-respect. Also, I've never seen grown adults move faster than when they realized the free buffet had been replaced with consequences. Now, don't go anywhere, because the next story is where my family tries to pull a business loan situation, and trust me, it gets real messy. I am 28 years old in this one, and my stepdad had a business opportunity every single year that somehow required other people's money. It was like clockwork. New dream, new pitch, new reason my wallet needed to become a supporting character. One evening he invites me over, sits me down like we're about to have a heartfelt family moment, and says, "We need you to help the family. It's an investment." I ask, "In what?" He leans back and goes, "A small business loan. Just put your name down as a guarantor. It won't affect you." That sentence should be illegal, like jail time, immediate. My mom jumps in with a gentle voice and says, "It's temporary. He just needs to show the bank support." I look at her and say, "Support is emotional. Guarantor is financial." Then they start stacking pressure like it's a Jenga tower made of guilt. My stepdad goes, "After everything I've done for you." And I say, "Name one thing you've done that required my signature." He glares at me like I just unplugged his life support. My mom does the sad voice next. "Don't you trust us?" I keep it calm and say, "Trust isn't the issue. Risk is." So I do the one thing that makes manipulators sweat through their shirt in real time. I ask for details. Show me the business plan. projected revenue, existing debts, and the exact loan terms. My stepdad immediately snaps, "You don't need all that." I nod and say, "Then you don't need my name." He gets angry, stands up, and tries to flip the script. "Fine, forget it. We'll find someone else." I smile like an absolute professional and say, "Great." A week later, I get a call from my mom crying. Turns out he did find someone else. My younger half-brother, who is 22 years old, and bless him, thinks APR is a rapper who opens for Drake. My stepdad convinced him it was just paperwork, and now the kid is basically on the hook for a loan he doesn't understand. I ask, "Did he read it?" And my mom whispers, "No." I drive over immediately, sit down with my brother, and we pull his credit report. And there it is. Loan inquiry, new account pending, a shiny financial landmine with his name on it. I tell him, "We're going to the bank tomorrow and you're going to tell them you were misled." At the bank, my brother admits he didn't understand what he signed. The banker pauses, asks a few follow-up questions, and suddenly the whole tone gets very official, very fast, like we went from customer service to "this might be fraud." The loan gets flagged and the process stops. Later that day, my stepdad calls me screaming like I set his dreams on fire and yells, "You ruined everything!" I keep my voice steady and say, "No, I prevented you from ruining him." My mom tries to play mediator and says, "Can't you just make peace?" And I tell her, "Peace without accountability is just me paying for everyone's lies." Ending note. My stepdad sulked for months. My brother learned to never sign anything without reading, and I learned that sometimes the best revenge is simple: refuse to be used, then help the next person escape the trap. And honestly, that's where I'll end it. Thank you for watching. If you've got your own crazy family drama story, being treated like the family bank, getting pressured into paying for someone else's mess, anything like that, you can send it to my email. We read every story, and yours might be featured in the next video. And if you enjoyed this episode, please drop a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. All right, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.